Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. Hi Tiffany, how are you? How's it going? How's your life? How you been? I did miss you. I know. It's very flattering, isn't it, for you? Yeah. Today we have a book haul that has been a long time coming because I haven't done a book haul in, I want to say like 3 or 4 months. Like it's been a while. It's been a long time. So in this video, we're going to talk about all the books I've purchased. I hope you're ready. Get a snack, maybe get something to drink, get something fun, you know, maybe get some alcohol if you need it. God, I know I do. This is water. Let's start talking about these books, okay? Let's get started. By the way, in case you don't know, my name is Jordaline and I'm an icon, supermodel of the world. Welcome to my channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to also follow me on Instagram if you want to. First of all, let's start with a book that was very kindly given to me by one of my patrons. She bought it for me off of my Amazon wish list. I'm so thankful. Little Miss Megara very kindly gifted me The Reaping by Bernard Taylor. This is a vintage horror novel about this guy named Tom. Right? Tom is like a painter. He's like an artiste. It's not a big deal, but it's also kind of like a big deal. And so Meg, sorry Meg, I'm like including you in the synopsis. Tom gets asked by this person, like, can you just come to my house and paint my portrait? And he's like, oh my God, yes, of course. It's gonna be so much money. It says that the offer is too lucrative to refuse. Tom gets there, right? And he's like ready. He's got like all of his little brushes and stuff and he's like ready to start painting, you know? No, it's not that at all. Instead, what he finds is like a house full of like shit, you know what I mean? Like he finds a house full of like weird stuff and he's like, the fuck is going on here? It says that he is drawn into a maze of horror, which how? And by the time that he discovers the role that he's intended to play, it's too late. I'm so intrigued by this. I've heard a lot of good things about Mr. Bernard Taylor. I think I've read 1 or 2 of his books before. Or no, maybe just one. I don't think I liked it though, but I'm excited for this. Also, this cover is very interesting. Like, what is going on? Why is there a phallic shape and then all of these like women with crosses? Like, that's weird. Thank you so much, Meg, for gifting this to me. And I can't wait to read it and see what I think of it. This is my second Paperbacks from Hell book. So I'm excited to read it because I haven't read the first one I got, to be honest. I should do a whole reading vlog where all I read is these. Literally, Meg, you're a genius. How'd you know? I cannot for the life of me, Tiffany, remember if I've talked about this or not, specifically in a book haul. I don't know if I've hauled it, but just in case I haven't, let me just say real quickly that I have One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This is my Patreon pick for June. I forgot what month it was. We're gonna be reading this in June with Allie from Hardback Quarter and Katie from Katie Colson. Check the faces. The face card never declines, bitch. Not with these bitches. For me, all the time. Don't even ask. This is, first of all, a stunning book. Look at that. Oh my God. It's gorgeous. Look at this. Oh my God. Fuck me in my ass. Are you, why did I say that weird? So beautiful. It's got like illustrations in it, which we love to see. We love to see it. I think it's the same illustrator, or it looks like it is, of Olivia's Atlas 6, which is one of my favorite books. One of my favorite dark academia books ever written. I haven't read this yet. I need to read it soon. This is about 2 families. They're like rivals though. They like hate each other, like these families, because they're both like witch families. Like they're both full of witches and warlocks and stuff. And so they hate each other also because they're both like running their own little criminal empires. Either one is like shady towards the other one, like always encroaching on each other's spaces and stuff. And like, it's not good. I think maybe, I could be wrong, it's like a Romeo and Juliet situation, but with like magic. You know what I hate? And let me just say this actually. It's nothing to do with this. What I hate is like how people like romanticize Romeo and Juliet. Like, and I know, I don't want to be like that girl, but I kind of am. Romeo and Juliet is making fun of romance. Like, Romeo and Juliet is not romance. It's making fun of romance. Romeo and Juliet is parodying the absurdity of romance as a genre. Like once you actually understand what happens in Romeo and Juliet and like how they like literally knew each other like a day, and how Romeo was literally like shacking up with some other bitch like literally like 2 hours beforehand, and then all of a sudden they're like in love. It's been like 13 hours and they're both dead because they like loved each other. Come on. Maybe I'm wrong though. Oh my God, if I'm wrong, that's so embarrassing. If I'm wrong, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Someone's gonna tell me if I'm wrong. Anyway, I'm really excited to read this for my Patreon. By the way, also, oh, I wish I had like a wind machine, because at that moment I would have had like my hair blowing in the wind. I would have been like, also, and like it would be like whoosh, you know. I have a Patreon that you can join if you want to. It's basically like a little subscription thing where you sign up for a certain tier each month and you get certain rewards, certain little perks. Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We do reading sprints. There's extra content. There's early access to content. It's like a whole thing. So we're gonna be reading this. I'm so excited to read it. I don't know what to expect, but after reading Atlas 6, only the best things can happen, right? Right? I don't remember if I hauled the first book in this series, but I know that I haven't hauled the second one. But I'm going to talk about The Way of the Shadows by Brent Weeks and its sequel, Shadow's Edge. Look at these covers. Oh, stunning. This series is about this kid named Azoth. Azoth is like a little boy. He's like 10, maybe 12. He grew up poor, like poverty poor, like Pavo poor. He's like in this guild type of thing where like one of the leaders is this guy named Rat, and Rat is like literally trash. Rat, everybody hates Rat. Nobody likes Rat, but Rat is like ruthless and cruel, so like nobody like wants to stand up to him because they're all afraid of him. But Azoth and Rat, they're like enemies. Rat hates Azoth. Azoth goes to this guy named Durzo Blint, who's like an assassin, or what they call like a wet boy, and he's like, Mr. Durzo Blint, please make me your apprentice or whatever. And Durzo is like, the fuck out of here. You're like literally a cockroach. Get out of my face. Okay, I hate you. It's like kind of cruel, but like whatever. Eventually Durzo's like, fine, you know what? You can be my apprentice if you kill Rat. Just kill him and like bring me like a part of his body to prove that you murdered him, and then you can be my apprentice, okay? Little boy. So then Azoth, boom, bada bing, he kills Rat, and he comes back to Durzo Blint and he's like, here you go, mother. Take the ear. Yeah, you like that, stupid bitch? Like he literally like, he's like, I killed him, so what? It's not like that at all, but that's I honestly think that you should take my synopsises with like a grain of salt. Like just imagine that this is like an interpretive dance that I'm doing. Don't think that I'm actually getting these plots right, even if I have read the books, which I read the first book for this series. Don't ever take them seriously. That's not what the book's about. It's just my interpretation of them, which is often wrong. Anyway, so then Azoth becomes Mr. Blint's apprentice. I read the first book. I really liked it. It was pretty good. I haven't read the second book yet, but I did buy it because I was like, I should buy it just in case, you know, the day comes when I want to read it. I'm not very good with series, to be honest with you, Tiffany. I'm not good at reading them. I'll read the first book and then never complete it. John Gwynne is literally living proof of that. Like, I still haven't read the second book, and I'm going to. I need to. Anyway, these two books, and they're stunning. I'm so excited to do my next Dark Academia reading vlog because I can't wait to read this book because I think it's going to be so good. It's like everything I want in a Dark Academia book. And that is Black Chalk by Christopher J. Yates. Oh my God, it's stunning. Let me tell you what this is about because it's crazy and it sounds so good. It says on the front, 1 game, 6 students, 5 survivors. This book is set at an Oxford University, or is it just Oxford University? I don't know. These students, these 6 students, start playing these silly games. They're just silly. They're just having fun. It's like whatever. And then slowly, throughout time, the games become more and more personal, more vicious, more cruel, more humiliating, evolving into a vicious struggle with unpredictable tragic results. 14 years later, the surviving game players get together because they want to play a last round of this little game. Sounds so good. It sounds like a Dark Academia thriller novel, and that's like literally all I want. I have heard literally no one talk about this. I think I found it on like a listicle or something when I was just Googling dark academia. I saw this and I was like, I need you in my life. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks. In the night, in the dead of night, pitch black, no moon, no stars, just whispering to it, lulling it to me. Since we're kind of talking about fantasy, but not really, let's talk about this, which is a few George R.R. Martin books. Little George Ray. I bought The Night of Seven Kingdoms, which is a collection of the Duncan Egg stories, which is like a whole thing. And then I also bought A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin. Never owned it. I mean, okay, I owned it when it came out. I remember back in the day, like what, 2012 or something, I had just moved to the big city to be a big city girl with big city dreams or whatever. I bought A Dance with Dragons. I was like, oh my God, I have to read this so that, you know, next year when the next book comes out. And eventually I was like, it's never happening. George, I give up, George. It's not happening with you. I had to rebuy it because I'm getting back into the series. This is the 5th book of the Song of Ice and Fire series. The 6th book, I have a feeling it's probably going to come out 2024. I'm hoping. If the Lord is willing, the book, it will come out 2024. And maybe he'll never finish the series, but I'm also hoping that like if he dies, let's hope he doesn't. George, stay with us. If he dies, maybe somebody else can like take over just for like the last book. Like maybe like Brandon Sanderson or something, or some other fantasy person. I don't know. Robin Hobb, that would be iconic. Can you imagine? Anyway, got that, which is the 5th book. And then I also, like I said, got this, which is like, I think 100 years maybe before what happens in these books. And it's like little short stories about 2 specific characters. One of them is like this knight and the other one is King Aegon the 3rd, maybe the 4th. I don't remember. Little George, Ray, Reagan, Ronald is gonna be back on the shelves. You know what, Tiffany? Let's just keep going with the fantasy moment. I have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Look at this cover, okay? Tiffany, look at this cover. Look at it. Oh my god. Thank you so much. I'm obsessed with this cover. I want to get them all in this type of cover. This is like the other covers. This, and like even the new ones. I'm like, you're literally insulting everyone. Like it's literally insulting. Like you're gonna give us this when this exists? Get fucked. Why am I so passionate? I've talked about it a few times, but I used to like not enjoy Brandon Sanderson because he was like a homophobe, and like we hate that. We hate homophobia here. If you're a homophobe, the f out. We don't want you here. You're stupid ass. Brandon Sanderson was like rude to gay people and like trans people, and I was like, ew, that's literally gross. And everyone who was like side eye. And then I saw this thing where it was like Brandon Sanderson's changed as a person, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll buy his books. Really happy for him though. I'm happy that Brandon is like being not bigoted. Like that's really nice. That's nice to see. It's good to see when people don't have bigoted thoughts and opinions. Love that for you, Brandon. Everybody on BookTube since 19 BC has been just jerking it to this book. I never knew why, mostly because I hated Brandon Sanderson. Now I will soon know the hype. Why do people love this so much? Specifically like this series. Why? I also hear though that his like newer stuff is even better. Work. Good for you, Brandon. We're so happy that you love the gays. Because I feel like, okay, and this is like the thing. When you hate the gays hate you. You think Cynthia, a cis-het woman down your street that you don't like, is bad news? You don't even know bad news. Just get on the bad side of one queer person and your life will be ruined. I swear to God. Next up, we have a book that I bought quite recently. I started to read it and I didn't finish reading it. Murder Your Employer by Rupert Holmes. Look at this cover again. The reason I buy most things is because of the cover. I'm not even gonna lie. It's because these things have pretty little outsides and I like that. From what I understand, this is about a university or like school that teaches people how to unalive other people. It's like a school where people go to become deletists, where they learn how to like delete people. How fun. Apparently there's also going to be more than one book because this is just volume 1. So I'm excited to see, first of all, the rest of the books in the series. Can you, oh my God. Oh, stunning. But I'm excited to see where it goes. And I'm excited to read it. I could also read this with black chalk. It could be like in a Dark Academia vlog because that's technically about a school. Also, Neil Patrick Harris is the audiobook narrator for this. Isn't that weird? I think it's a little weird. Why? Next book I want to show you is one that I'm literally so excited to read. I've been excited for it. And that is Kagan the Damned by Jonathan Maberry. Look at this cover. It's literally gorgeous. The reason I'm so excited for this is just because it seems kind of ridiculous, to be honest. Like, it seems kind of fun. And basically this is about this guy named Kagan. He's like a super like honored, high ranking officer, guard person for like this kingdom, right? Until Kagan gets canceled, like medieval time style. Like they're like, Kagan, get the f out of here. We don't like you anymore. Get out of here. We hate you. You're canceled. Kagan packs up his bags. First of all, bitter as f, but like whatever. He packs up his bags. He gets his little bags and he just struts. He just struts out of there. He's like, fuck you guys anyway. I never liked any of you anyway. You're all stupid and ugly and gross. You all stink. I hate you. Like, that's literally what he does. Okay, so then like years later, right? Kagan is like at home and he's just brewing. He's just brewing those little bitter beans, you know? He's drinking that haterade. He's got it. It's like a little, he's just like me, honestly. Like a little heart, black, crusted, just fucking charred, you know? And he's filled with hatred, filled with revenge. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to that little kingdom place or whatever, and I'm gonna let them all know who the f they decided to banish. So Kagan like gets Kagan gets all of his little bags again. I can't even do it. Kagan gets his bags again and he just struts right back over there. And so he goes back and he's like, hey bitches, you miss me? And they're like, no, we didn't. What are you doing here? Get out of here. We hate you. And he's like, yeah, well, it's not over for me yet. It's over for you though. And I think it's basically about Kagan getting his revenge. I love a good revenge story. Like, who doesn't love a good revenge story? We've all been wronged in these pages. Also, this book is floppy and we love to see it. I keep almost also buying the sequel and I know that I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't, but also it's so pretty. Like, look at it. Oh, maybe I'll buy it when Sam comes to visit. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Another fantasy book. We're almost done, I think, with the fantasy section. We have The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mr. Mark Lawrence. Somebody also commented on one of my videos recently saying that they read this and that they absolutely loved it. I think they said that they loved it. They liked it, at least. I have really high hopes for this. I read Red Sister by Mark Lawrence and I was like, but with this, I feel like it's gonna be good. It's about people in like a library. So, yeah. A boy has lived his whole life trapped within the book-choked chamber. Older than empires and larger than cities, the girl has spent hers in a tiny settlement out on the dust where nightmares stalk and no one goes. The world has never noticed them. That's about to change. I don't know what to expect, but based on the cover, only the best things. I think this is one of the last fantasy books, and then we can move on to like thriller and horror and stuff. That is Night Angel Nemesis by Brent Weeks. This, I think, is the sister series to The Way of Shadows. The Way of Shadows series is called the Night Angel trilogy, 3 books. This is called the Kyler Chronicles. Don't know how many books there are, but this is the first one. It's giant, but it's also stunning. Look at that. Ugh, gorgeous. I'm excited to generally just like read this series because I did enjoy the first book quite a bit, so we'll see. Also, I feel like it's been a long time since I've been in like my ASMR game, you know? I need to get back into it, especially with like my nails, with like how long they're getting. I need to get back into the ASMR. Let's move on to like thriller / horror books, okay? First of all, I have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I got this from Book of the Month. This I have read. I have like a whole reading vlog for. I'll put reading vlogs for all of the books I talk about in the description. Hopefully I don't forget. If I do forget and you want to see them, just like put it in the comments and I'll do it. But this is about this girl named Daisy. Daisy is having like a family reunion, right? And she hasn't seen her family in forever, especially her grandma, who she like loves to pieces, loves to bits. Like she loves her grandma so much. She shows up and her family shows up. Oh no, people are being killed off like one by one. Huh. Daisy is like, what in the ever going on in this house today? What is happening? Daisy's gonna find out what's going on. I caught on to the twist very quickly in the book, very quickly. And so I read most of it being like, I'm pretty sure this is what's happening. And like, there were like all these things where I was like, that proves it, that proves it, that proves it. Even though I knew what was gonna happen, I was still like down for the ride. I still read it in like basically one sitting. It was very fun. I really liked it. Another book in that same reading vlog is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is like his newest thriller moment. I also got this from Book of the Month. I wish they were sponsoring me. Book of the Month, sponsor me. This is about this girl named Emily, I think. Emma, oh my God, I'm literally a genius. And she's house sitting and her neighbor across the way is like this old man, right? They haven't really met, but they do write notes to each other. They're like, hey, what's up, whatever. And they have like telescopes so that they can see each other's notes. One day, her neighbor, his name is Deke, is like, hey, you should like read this book. And so she does. And then she ends up fucking hating it. She's like, what the that was such trash. And then Deke is like, ha ha ha, I know, right? It's so bad. Emma writes a review for this book and she's like, I hated it. It was literally gross. I hope this guy dies. She's like really mean about it. And then the author is like, excuse me, hello, take down your fucking review. That's so rude. And she's like, no, I don't think I want to. That's the thing. And he's like, okay, well, take it down or literally I'll fucking kill you. Like, take it down. You're gonna ruin my fucking life. And she's like, chill out. You're such a drama queen. Like, you're fine. I'm not taking it down. Emma starts noticing weird things around the little house that she's house sitting. She's being stalked and perhaps preyed upon by the author himself. This also was so much fun. If you really enjoyed No Exit, you're gonna really like this. Once again, Meg sent me another book. I should have mentioned it when I mentioned the other book, but Meg sent me another book from my Amazon wish list. It was really sweet. Meg sent me Night Shoot by David Sodergren. First of all, the cover is literally gorgeous. I know that David Sodergren is like a horror icon. Like he does a lot of like these kinds of books that are like kind of slashery, kind of like haunted house feeling. I don't really know what this is about. Also, I just realized there's literally like illustrations in it. Gorgeous. The only thing I don't like about his books is that there aren't any audiobooks for them, but with this, because it's like so short, you could read it physically very easily. So this is about a group of desperate student filmmakers and they decide, you know what, let's break in to that old haunted house called the Crawford Manor. I'm sorry, with a name like Crawford Manor, I won't be within 10 feet of that fucking place. That's so creepy, but whatever. Okay, so they're like, let's go to the Crawford Manor and shoot there. Like it's abandoned, whatever. What's the worst that could happen? They go, and it says, the Crawford Manor has a past that won't stay dead, and the crew are about to come face to face with the hideous secrets that stalk the halls. Sounds very fun. Seems like it's meant to be like a found footage slasher / ghost story, and we love to see it. Next, we have Such a Pretty Smile by Christy DeMenster. I really don't know what to think of this. I read the synopsis and I genuinely have no idea what it's about, but from what I can gather, it's about a girl in 2019. Her name is Lila and she has like a bunch of secrets, right? Like secrets that she won't tell anyone. Not her father, not her psychiatrist, not her new mom, not her old mom, like no one. But Lila is experiencing these like hallucinations or like she's being terrorized by some kind of like demon or presence. But then in 2004, Lila's mom, Caroline, is also having the same problems then. Maybe it's like genetic. I don't know. It sounds creepy. And we love women who write horror, always. We have The Haunting of Alejandra by V. Castro. This is about a woman who's being terrorized by La Llorona, who is a Mexican like folklore, I think. She's basically like a woman in white who is crying, and she likes to kill children, I think. Alejandra is a mother and a wife and a friend and all of these things, but she doesn't really know who she is. It's not really helped either that she can, like, again, see La Llorona, who's like haunting her. Like, in her moments of despair, she like sees this ghostly figure. La Llorona wants to take Alejandra where her mother before her, where her grandmother before her went, into the darkness. But she's not about to do that. No, because she's not a dumb bitch. I'm really excited to read this. I've also heard so many people talk so much good shit on this. Why did I say that weird? Also, this cover. Oh. Next, we have a book that I literally forgot I bought until this moment. Now I'm really excited to read it. And that is Fantasticlant by Mike Bakoven. This is about this place called Fantasticlant. It's like a theme park, right? Everyone loves it. Everyone goes and they have so much fun, blah, 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 blah. And then there's like a hurricane, natural disaster that like fucks everything up. This natural disaster like isolates all of the employees and guests into the park. And 5 weeks later, authorities are able to get into the park. They find a massacre. Human bones everywhere. There's like, you know, guts hanging here and hanging there like garlands. It's like grotesque and weird and not good. And so they're like, the fuck happened? The fuck happened? It says, how can a group of survivors, mostly teenagers, commit such terrible acts? It sounds really fucked up, but we love to see it. Should have talked about this sooner, but I honestly forgot that it was in the pile, and that is What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. Oh, even just like saying all of those things is like literally exhausting. This book was like not it. It like wasn't my favorite. This is about a girl. She's a child. She's in the forest with her friends, as you know, children are. They end up being attacked by a man. Two of them come out of the forest and they think, oh my God, our friend is dead. No, she comes back out. She's alive, you know, amazingly. 20 years, 15 years into the present, these three reunite and a bunch of fuck shit happens. I did not really care for this and I wouldn't recommend it. I read it for Gabby's book club. I will link the live show down below in case you want to watch it and hear all of our thoughts, but not my favorite. Not great. Sorry, Kate. Didn't love it. I was so excited for this book and it was such a bummer. And that is Lone Women by Victor LaValle. I really loved this book in the first half. The second half lost me. I got lost. I couldn't find my way out. It was scary. This is about this woman named Adelaide. Adelaide leaves home. She catches a little carriage because it's like, you know, the olden times. She leaves and she goes to be a homesteader. And she has with her this trunk, right? And it's very, very, very heavy. And everyone who tries to like carry it or drag it or lift it is like, the fuck is in your trunk? And she's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. The book centers around what's in that trunk that she's carrying with her everywhere she goes. I really wanted to love this. The second half lost me. I couldn't get into it. The first half though, so good. Ugh. Also Victor LaValle's writing just in general, stunning. Love his writing. I'm not going to talk about this book too much because it's a sequel, and that is The Assassin of Reality by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko, translated by Julia Matov-Hershey. This is the sequel to Vita Nostra. I have a whole reading vlog where I read this book and Vita Nostra. I will link it down below, but basically it sort of picks up where the first book left off. Obviously. Why did I need to clarify that for you? You knew that. Anyway, I have a whole reading vlog for this, so if you're interested, check it out. This is like a theme. I can't remember if I've already talked about this book, so I'm going to mention it anyway, and that is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. This is a adult horror thriller novel, and similar to Lone Woman, the first half of this, I was there, and then the second half, not so much. This is basically about a girl whose sister was killed or had gone missing years ago. And so she goes on this like expedition to find out what happened to the people and her sister. And oh no, flesh-eating mermaids. It's very, very scary in terms of the mermaids. Mermaids are not cute. I was honestly afraid. But like I said, the second half I wasn't like that big of a fan of, but the first half, man, ooh, it had me. It had me. I started reading this and I literally never finished it, and I really need to finish it because I actually want to know what's gonna happen. And that is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This is about a girl who goes on a writing retreat. Duh. She also happens to be going on this writing retreat with like this girl who like she used to be friends with, but they're not friends anymore, and they might have been gay together, but there's like some like closeted homophobia internalized shit going on there too. Our main character goes on this trip and she's like, I'm just gonna do me, whatever, like you don't even exist, really. Things start to get weird, especially with like the guru or whatever that's like hosting this retreat. It's very secluded also. Like they only choose like 5 people to do this like every year. So our main character is like super lucky. But something strange is happening, especially with the woman who is hosting the retreat. I want to finish this because I want to know what's going to happen. Let me know in the comments if you've read this and what you think of it, and if I should actually read the rest of it. So many of you, after I talked about this, said that you picked it up and read it for yourself as well, and you loved it, and that makes me so happy. The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. This is a graphic novel about this girl. She's like totally gay. They keep being like, you should marry a dude, and she's like, ew, literally gross, I'd rather not. And they're like, okay, fine, but after your dad dies, just like pretend to be a dude. You know what I mean? Like that, maybe that'll be easier for you, because people are going to be like totally giving you the side eye if you're just like a woman and you're unmarried. So she's like, that's fair. After her dad dies, she starts wearing all of his clothes and she starts presenting as a man. And then she meets this princess named Princess Bree. This one right here, who's literally fine as fuck, but whatever. And by the way, also all the characters are named after cheese. Our main character is called Camembert. And the dog is called Gouda. It's so cute. I can't. She meets Princess Bree. Bree thinks that she's a man. She's not. She's just dressing like one. And so Bree is like, oh my God, he's so hot, whatever. And then she's like, oh my God, she's so hot. But also she thinks I'm a guy. That's like so not great. It's like very much giving like Coffee Prince kind of vibes, at least in my opinion. I love it. I loved it so much. I'm telling you right now, if you're into graphic novels, if you like gay shit, if you like cheese, this is the boy. I also have Family Business by Jonathan Sims. I read 13 Stories like a few years ago and I really liked it. So when I found out that this was coming out, I needed it. Like I had to have it. And this, from what I know, is about a girl who starts working in a like trauma crime scene cleaner thing. That's not what they're called. Like when someone's murdered or killed or when somebody dies, people go in to clean the houses or like clean up the blood or whatever. She gets that job. But I think there's supposed to be like a horror element to it. I think maybe it's like a ghost element actually. I don't know. Either way, I'm excited to actually read it. I started to read it, but I wasn't really feeling it, so I put it down. But I'm excited to go back to it. We have 2 books left, Tiffany. Let's talk about this book, which my friend very kindly gifted me for my housewarming party, and that is Victories Greater Than Death. She read this and she really loved it. The end papers are stunning. Oh my God. Cover I'm okay with. I don't love it, but it's okay. This is about a girl named Tina. Tina is a clone of this like hero, this like tactician person from Earth, but she's like an alien clone. Tina knows that it is her destiny. It is her fate to one day save the universe. Like she's like ready for it. She's like waiting. She's like sitting there with her little watch, like anytime now would be great. And then it's ready, it's time. And Tina is just Tina. She's not like some savior. She's not some grand person. She's just Tina. So when everyone is like, go ahead, do things, she's like she doesn't know what to do. Tina is surrounded by a crew she can trust, including her best friend Rachel, and she is determined to save all the worlds. But first, she'll have to save herself. Oh, that's cute. My friend really liked this. It seems like sci-fi, which like I don't normally read, but I'm excited. I'll give it a shot. Who knows? It could be good. The more I look at the cover, the more I like it actually. I'm kind of changing my mind on the cover. I kind of like it. But anyway. Last but not least, I've been sitting here for almost an hour, like over an hour actually. And I have Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is Emily Henry's newest book. I'm kind of upset with myself that I bought the hardcover because I have them all in paperback. So this is not going to match. And that's me. That's on me. That's my fault. You know, I take responsibility, but I'm not happy about it. This is about Harriet and Wynne. Harriet and Wynne have been married for like 5 years. They're like literally the perfect couple. Grilled cheese and tomato soup, kind of perfect. Except it's not really that perfect, is it? No, because they're like broken up. They separated. Like for months now, actually. But they get invited to this little getaway thing that happens every year. And so they go and they're like, you know what? We're going to put on our best fucking face and we're going to like pretend like we're still together to save our friends the heartbreak that we've been through. So they start like doing like a fake dating scenario thing with their friends, being like, we've been married for so long, it's not gonna be that hard to like fake dating, like whatever. I don't know about the plot. It sounds kind of like not that great. But I don't know. It could be great. I don't know. It could be amazing. I'm excited to read it overall, I guess, though, because Emily Henry always somehow just pulls it together. I'm excited for this. My friends, my family, my familia. Thank you so much for being here today, this evening, this morning. It's been so good to see you with your blue, green, brown eyes, just staring at me, just so beautifully. I love it. I just love it when you do that. You're so great. What am I talking about? Thank you so much. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books, if you want to buy any of these books, if you hate any of these, love any of these books. I'd love to know. Please tell me. Please. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe because we talk about spooky shit. Why do I always do this in a Russian accent? We talk about spooky shit, we talk about creepy shit, we talk about George Ray Martin and shit. Also, before I go, actually, also, if you could just leave me, if you've gotten this far, I mean, if you could just like leave me this emoji, okay? Just leave it, and now we all know you're my favorite. My favorite. You, yes, you, not her, you. You just look great. You look great. Anyway, okay, don't forget that emoji. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Au revoir, my friends. Bye. I hope you have a wonderful day. Make good choices. Make bad choices, actually, even. Be gay. Do crime. Okay, bye. I just see her face wherever I look. She's standing in the